Hello, baddies and besties. I'm your host, Maddie Morris.
And I'm your host, Elliot Morris.
And you are listening to
My Lash to Brain Cells live.
And in this episode, we are talking about how to build an education empire. More specifically, how we have built an education empire. So this is all our experience, stories, and tales of how we did it. And I am so excited to be here with you guys today. This is such a gift. My heart is absolutely pounding out of my chest.
I think we'll calm down as it goes on.
Yes, but this is such a gift to be here with you guys. I cannot thank you enough from the bottom of my heart for sticking along with my journey. Some of you I've known since I lived in Alaska, since I first started, since my work looked like crap. Some of you guys have been my friends since the very first LashCon, and so I feel so humbled and grateful to be able to be on this stage today, and I'm so grateful to see all your beautiful faces, and thank you so much for taking the trip out here and being here today.
Get it a little closer.
What?
A little closer to your face so they can hear you.
Okay.
So let's introduce our characters.
My name is Maddie. If you guys haven't met me yet, my name is Maddie Morris, and I am a lash artist. If you don't know much about me, these are a few things I care about. I'm based out of Scottsdale, Arizona. We own a beautiful salon suites and coffee shop called Light Heart. We built it from the ground up, as you can see in this photo. Almost 2 years ago, Elliot and I signed the lease on this hideous building, and we have built it into one of the most community-oriented spaces to ever exist. And we have some of our amazing renters that fill Light Heart with so much love here today. We have Andy from Lash Withdrawal. Woo! We have Erica from Lash Vacay. We have Mia from Lucky Girl Beauty and Peyton. We have Miss Katie, the Lash Lady, watching live. We have so many amazing human beings that fill this space with so much love every single day. But throughout the build out, I remember feeling so supported by my whole community the entire time, all the highs, all the lows, and I only have you guys to thank for that, for keeping us going. I also care about my husband, Elliot. He is wonderful. We work full time together now. Elliot is a retired mechanical engineer, so it is such, am I echoey?
No, well, you were just really quiet, so I think they just boosted you.
Oh, should I talk right here?
Yeah, that'd be better.
Does that sound good?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, cool. And I really, really care about lashes, if you guys can't tell. I absolutely love doing lashes. I have been obsessed with makeup and beauty and mascara and eyelashes since I very first learned what they were. So I love taking clients. I love doing lashes. It is my favorite thing in the world. It's no secret that I have had quite the uphill ride in the beauty and the lash industry. I started out in Anchorage, Alaska. I was a bridal makeup assistant when I was 16 years old, and then I went to beauty school right out of high school, got my little diploma, and immediately started working at a salon. So I have truly been in the beauty industry as long as I possibly could, and I've been in 5 or 6 spaces at this point. But now, today, I have my own salon suites. It's beautiful, but there were a lot of suites and a lot of in-betweens to get there. And we'll talk a little bit about that later.
So here's a little helpful graph of my happiness over time. You can see here we have my birthday at Disneyland when I was about 4 years old. Then I graduated high school, and then somewhere around like here, you can see where I met Madison, and there was a considerable spike.
You might remember me from LashCon in 2019, but you probably don't. I was hiding in the back like the entire time, and I had the nerve to make one friend, and it was Miss Jessica VXO, who's sitting in the front row. I remember Elliot and I came all the way from Alaska, and he was like, girl, you're here to make friends. And I was like, I don't know anyone. Everyone has a group and a clique and a club and a VIP pass. And like, I literally gave myself a fill in the bathroom. Like, I am not worthy to be here. And I went up to Jessica VXO, and we have just been friends ever since. So if you are new to LashCon, please, I urge you, just talk to somebody. Everyone here has the biggest hearts. I have found in the last 8 years that lash artists are the nicest people in the world. And this is Elliot.
Hi, I'm Elliot. We really like each other. And these are our besties. These are all the wonderful renters of Light Heart Coffee Shop. And then on the side here, you can see Caleb and Mariah. They are our partners in Light Heart Coffee Shop. and we love them very much. So here is the Lightheart timeline. This is the lore of the Lightheart universe. So in January of 2017, Madison graduated aesthetic school. Then October of 2018, she started Wildflower Lash Company.
Very original name.
Very original name, I know. And then in October of 2020, she began offering private trainings. This was our first foray into education. Then December of 2020 was our first group training. January of 2021, Lightheart is born. We were moving to Arizona, and we thought, we need a more original name, one that we can trademark, and Lightheart was born. February of 2021, we moved to Arizona. Yay. March of 2021, our first digital product is released, which is Instagram for Lash Artists. June 2021, we have 17 private trainings in 1 month. She did 17 days out of 30. She was doing a private training all day.
I would wake
toasted.
up at the crack of dawn. I would get my student Starbucks. I would be dressed, heels on, ready to go. Kit made 17 out of 30 days.
That was nuts. And then November of 2021, we started the build out of Lightheart Studios. January of 2022, we launched Going Independent, which was our first online course. April of 2022, we opened the studios, and we also started offering group classes so that we could teach more students per month while still having the time to focus on digital products and content. By having these group classes, we could teach 8 students at once instead of 1 per day. It made it a lot easier to keep up with making digital content, courses, things like that.
Because I was so tired.
She was a little tired, you guys. Then in 2022, that allowed us to launch a bunch more digital courses like Angel Lashes, which is our biggest hit so far. Then in November of 2022, we launched My Lash 2 Brain Cells, the world's best lash artist podcast, if I do say so myself.
Do not say that. Second to LashCon.
Oh, I mean the second best lash podcast of all time. In January of 2023.
We want to get invited back.
Oh, that's so true. Definitely second best, far second best. January 2023, we had our first 100K month, and then throughout 2023, we launched a ton of new products: Wispy Workshop, Mapping Mastery, Understanding Retention, Facebook Ads, the Business Bundle, Lash Artistry Bundle, Perfect Consultation, Lightheart University, the Booked and Busy online course, the Client Communication Survival Guide, and our biggest course ever, the Mega Volume Masterclass.
And here we are today talking with all of you, which is a dream come true. The studios have been full for almost 2 years. We sell out every single in-person training, some within less than a few hours. Our reach has grown exponentially, and thousands of artists have used our education to improve their technique, raise their prices, and fill their books. And now we get to work together full time, which is great because we like each other very much.
Honestly, it's a win-win-win. And with the trainings too, we actually have some spots in like February, March, and April that haven't sold out yet. So if you want to hop on
if you want to take them, they got your name all over them.
So
but rewind.
We're gonna rewind and see how this all happened.
How did this happen? We're gonna look at what we did right, what I believe we did wrong, why it worked, and what we would have done differently if we were to start an education business all over again. In October 2020, an education company was born. It was an accident, but it was born.
But why does it succeed, and how did it grow? Great question.
In 2017 and 2018, I did a few things. I took way too many lash trainings. Anybody taken way too many lash trainings? Woo! It's a thing. I took way too many. I worked as a salon employee, and then I quit and started my own lash business. And one thing I did was I worked way harder than anyone else at improving my skills. In 2019, I learned the flower bouquet technique, and after learning technique, it really clicked for me, and for the following year, I spent every waking moment practicing it. I was literally obsessed, because I knew if I put the time in and I dedicated myself to this, and I stopped taking training after training after training after training, and I actually just implemented the material, that I could go far with it. Before clients, I was practicing. After my clients, I was practicing. Driving to work, I was fanning on my lap, getting pulled over. On a date with Elliot, hey honey, do you mind if I just pull my tile out, make a few fans?
Just a couple fans, you guys.
In the shower, great time to practice, higher humidity.
We all struggle with the high humidity, but not her.
Not this guy. Sleep, I wasn't sleeping. I was addicted to Bang energy drinks, and I was fanning all night. But in March of 2020, I was finally competent at this technique, which was a huge win for little Maddie. And then it turned out I was the only one in the state of Alaska at the time who was creating mega volume looks, and that really, really set my work apart at the time. So artists naturally began asking if I could teach them how to do it. And I thought, well, I'm not ready, but if I am going to teach someone one day, I really want to give them their money's worth, right? I want them to have a better time than I did. You know, I was like 8 trainings deep at this point. I had taken amazing trainings too. But I knew that if I was going to teach and put my name on someone else's education and their wall and their life, I wanted to do a darn good job at it. So I started writing a curriculum in March of 2020, and it was a big curriculum. The key factors to my initial training success was, number one, there was a strong existing demand for the skill that I excelled in. There was immediate strong focus on genuinely helpful educational content created specifically for my dream students, not just anyone. And the intention behind the trainings was that shortly into developing my educational material, we decided to move from Alaska and move to Arizona, which means that I was now training every single student in Alaska to take over my dear clientele and to make sure that my clients were in good hands. So it was like a big ask. I was like, I have these clients that I love so much, and I need to give them away. And so the people I was training, I was like, I am going to give you the most incredible clientele that I have worked for. So it gave me like a purpose and a reason to make those trainings amazing.
And then in February of 21, we entered the promised land. And so a lot of people ask us all the time when we say we moved from Arizona or from Alaska down to Arizona, they would say, why would you move? And so just to clear things up, we made a pros and cons list, tried to figure everything out, and we ended up deciding to leave this in exchange for this.
Woo!
It's a lot nicer, you guys. So I hope that clears things up. There are some other minor business reasons to move to Arizona, because sometimes if you want to grow, you just have to move. So it was clear that the education market in Alaska was limited. And so moving to Arizona allowed for artists from out of state to visit for training, something that no one's doing up in Alaska. It helped us with brand positioning because it's a lot more authoritative to be successful in a large premium market like Scottsdale as opposed to, middle of nowhere Alaska.
Cue explosive demand. These factors led to a massive increase in training demand in 2021, partially due from the pent-up demand from artists who found me in Alaska but didn't want to fly in for a private training with me in Alaska. Totally understandable. The moment that I was in Arizona, my training books filled. But mostly it was due to consistent focus on high-quality educational Instagram content starting in March of 2020. Instagram, you say? Another result of my focus on Instagram content was that naturally other artists began asking how I create and edit my posts. In 2020, that was a big thing, like a beautiful Instagram feed, like how to edit eyeballs perfectly, how to get nice angles. That was the big thing at the time, and I got so many questions about it. So while I was stuck in COVID, I decided to put all of the things that I knew about Instagram into an ebook at the time.
And believe it or not, people bought it. On the day we launched Instagram for Lash Artists, we did $780 in sales on a product with $0 fulfillment costs. Now, I'm not great at math, but if something costs you $0 and you can sell it for more than $0, it seems like a pretty good thing to keep doing as much as you possibly can. So this is the part where we sell 1 million ebooks and decide to retire forever.
Thank you so much. Oh no.
What? Wait. What is that? Oh, it's the customer acquisition cost monster. No! So what is CAC, and why did it ruin my infinitely profitable business? CAC, or customer acquisition costs, are the costs associated with acquiring new customers for your product. These can be direct costs, such as money spent on ads that lead to sales, or indirect costs, such as time, labor, and money spent creating content, building your brand that organically leads to sales. So let's start going over direct customer acquisition costs, because those are a little simpler. After the initial sales of Instagram for Lash Artists, we decided to release our second product, consent forms. This is the first product that we attempted to sell through Facebook ads. We chose to advertise it because it was our lower price product, and our belief was that cheaper things are easier to sell through ads. We were kind of right, but also we were mostly wrong.
And it was so funny because our consent forms were something that a girl messaged me and said, hey, I'm struggling to make my client consent forms, my consultation forms. She goes, can I buy yours? And I was like, well, no, but I'll give them to you.
And then she gave them to her and was like, wait, she could have paid me for that.
No, I did not say that. I emailed them to her, and then she said, OMG, girl, let me Venmo you. And I said, don't Venmo me, but if you were going to, how much would you Venmo me for these? And she said, $40. And I said, perfect. So we put them on the website for $37. Give them a sweet deal. So that was our second product. See how this kind of started as an accident?
It really did.
It really did. So I was like, I guess let me make them pretty and put them on the website, Elliot.
Absolutely. So the good thing about selling these through Instagram, Facebook ads is that customer acquisition cost decreases as the price of the product also decreases. So the bad thing is that CAC decreases more slowly than the price decreases. But it's also good because it means that your CAC increases more slowly than the price of the product increases. I understand that's so confusing, but the next few slides hopefully will clear it up. So here's some examples. Our consent forms, these are ads that we've run on our, these are Facebook ads that we've run for a few of our products. The consent forms, you can see that on the right over here is our price per purchase. So the consent forms, which we're selling for $37, it cost us $38 to get one sale. So that means we're losing $1.59 per sale, which is not great. Then we look at Booked and Busy, which we were selling for $98, and our per purchase cost for that was $44.32. So that means we're making somewhere around $60 per sale. And then our online mega volume course, which we're selling for $777, our cost per purchase is $119.64. So we're making somewhere in the range of $650 per sale. So a lot more money. So here's what that looks like on a chart. You can see our consent forms in the bottom left. The red line is the product price, and the blue line is the customer acquisition cost, so the cost per sale to us. So you can see that with consent forms, the red line is below the blue line, which means we're losing money. Then we move up the red line to Booked and Busy, which we're selling for $98. Our cost per sale is around $44, so we're making money now. And then as we raise the price, the customer acquisition cost versus the product price further diverges, and so you're making more money kind of in the margin between what it costs for someone to buy it versus what you're making off of it. So Mega Volume course has been our kind of most profitable per sale to run Facebook ads for. Now don't get any funny ideas. The things you should take away from this graph are that cheaper products are easier to sell through ads. You can see here the customer acquisition cost decreases as the product gets cheaper. But below a certain price, in our experience, it's around $50, it's really difficult to make a profit selling through ads, especially on digital online content, because you don't have repeat customers like you do with a lot of physical products like LASH products, and also because customers are generally a little more wary to purchase digital products because they either have been burned in the past or digital products don't have kind of the intrinsic value that people associate with physical products. The thing that you should not take away from this graph is that if you make your product $1 million, it'll be turbo profitable to sell it with ads. So don't go setting your product price at $1 million and then spending $100,000 on ads and then saying, well, if I just get one sale, I'll make $900,000. This will be great. As you raise your price, the number of customers at your price point decreases, which also decreases your order volume. So when you're pricing your products, you have to do kind of a balance of pricing it high enough that you're making money on the ads, but then pricing it low enough that you have a large pool of people who are willing to spend that amount of money on your product. If, say, we had the Mega Volume online course selling for $2,000, there would be a lot fewer people who are willing to spend $2,000 for an online course, although every course that we did sell would likely be a lot more profitable because we would make more in the margin between what we had to spend on the ads, but our ads would fatigue faster and we would work through that pool of people faster and we would overall make less money because the amount of money that you're making is how many products you sell times the price of the product. So if you're making, $10,000 per product, but you're only selling 2 of them, you're not making as much as if you're selling 1,000 $200 things. So now let's move on to indirect CACs. The most important investment that you can make in your business is building your brand. I think that's very important. I think that has been seen time and time again, not just with our business, but with every business that has ever existed in history. The time, effort, and money that you put into building your brand are all investments. And by definition, an investment should get a return. So over the previous year, Maddie had posted consistent educational content made specifically for her target audience of lash artists. This was the investment. She was investing time, energy, she was working.
Everyone would always ask, how much time do you spend on Instagram a day? I was like, every single moment when I open my eyes to the time that I close them at night. And if someone DMs me at 11 p.m., I will get up and roll out of bed and I will answer it. It was investment of time.
I'll be sleeping with my eyes closed and I just see this bright white light shining on the other side of the bed.
And I'm just like, hey girl, what's your email? Like, let me help you out.
She does. So what this led to, this investment in building her community, meant that when Instagram for Lash Artists launched, she had around 6,000 followers, way less than what she has today, and we did $3,325 in sales in 1 month, which breaks down to 50 cents per follower in profit, which is not bad.
But $3,325 for an entire year of work is still less than minimum wage.
Ooh, that's not great.
Now, this is where the beauty of brand building really, really showed up in our case, because I didn't spend a whole year of my life building the Instagram for Lash Artist brand. I spent a year building the Lightheart Lash brand, and Lightheart Lash could sell a whole lot more than just one ebook. So if you build a brand that represents your customer's dream outcome, write this down and take a picture of it, you guys. All of you in this room, I assume, are getting into education or want to. What was I saying? If you build a brand that represents your customer's dream outcome, you earn the right to sell them the tools to get there. The Lightheart brand represented a high-quality aesthetic Instagram feed, so people bought the ebook. But by this time, Lightheart also represented a successful artist and educator, which led to training explosion. The brand building of the previous year led to overwhelming interest in my mega volume private trainings. First, we booked out 6 months in advance. I added new dates, I raised the price, and I still couldn't keep up with the demand because I am just one guy. This was June of 2021. Some of you are probably in this picture, but it was like day after day after day, and I was so excited to do it, but this continued for months and months and months on end. But why do our trainings do so well? Well, my in-person trainings and workshops are our most successful product for a few reasons. Got it. Number one is we have relentless focus on student experience and results. The goal of each training isn't to just give the student information. The goal is to end the training certain that the student understood the information and they can put it into practice. The goal is not that I teach them. The goal is that the student understood. Two is constant improvement. Every time I would print a new batch of manuals, like every few months, and I still do this to this day, I add to it. I will never print the same batch of manuals. That's why if you took my training in 2020, 2021, 2022, you have a different manual. You can hit me up, I'll give you the new version, but I add to it every single time. I update my lectures based on common struggles that I see from students, and I create new materials to help students practice after they leave. And then real results, because the first two reasons our trainings produce real results for students. They have more confidence, their work massively improves, and they raise their prices, and then they fill their books. That is my goal. This massively increases the perceived likelihood of success for anyone considering our training because it's less risky. They've had friends take it that have had a good experience. And it makes the perceived value of the trainings way higher because the ROI, the return on their investment, is now obvious to them.
Yeah, if you see all your friends taking your training, raising their prices, and then filling their books up, then it's going to make sense to you that it could do the same for you. So it's kind of a cycle that builds on itself.
Wow, everything we're doing is working out so well, Elliot.
I bet every product we make will be extremely successful.
Oh no.
Oh no.
What's that?
What is that?
Oh.
Oh no.
Going independent.
Oh no. Oh no.
In case you were starting to believe that everything that me and Elliot does works out, Going Independent was a beginner business course that we made that did $4,900 a month at launch, and it did under $10K for all of 2022. But you learn more from mistakes than you do from success, and I want to share this with you because we learned a lot in the process. This was our first real, beefy online video course, and we learned a lot.
And for context on those numbers, at this time we were doing around $200,000 a year in online course sales. So this, which we spent a ton of time on, represented a very, very small fraction of it, which didn't feel great. So when we launched the course and got very few sales, many thoughts went through our minds. We're bad, the course is bad, no one will ever buy anything from us again. Maybe we shouldn't have bought those 2 matching Lambos before we launched the course.
But what really went wrong? We sat down and thought about it. Going Independent was our first real online course, and we wanted it to have high production value. So we wrote an entire word-for-word script for a 5-hour video course, and then we filmed myself reading it off of a teleprompter, word for word, and then we edited in all the text and graphics after the fact, and we ended up hiring an editor to finish everything because it was taking Elliot so long on top of his full-time
I still had my day
engineering.
job.
Elliot still had his full-time engineering job. He was traveling back and forth to Alaska and in pockets of time trying to put together this heavily produced online course that we had made. We made it unnecessarily complicated, and it didn't improve the student experience. So now I create all my lectures as PowerPoints, and I just film myself giving the presentation just like this.
So what else did we do wrong? We sunk hundreds of hours into creating a huge course and then priced it based off of the value we believed it provided.
We didn't think of our audience. We thought of how it would be valuable to us. A course teaching the fundamentals of building a profitable lash business will save artists thousands of dollars.
So we should sell it for $599. That's way less than the value it's providing, so everyone will think it's a great deal. Idiots! What these 2 dummies didn't realize is that artists who are just getting started in their lash careers do not want to drop $600 on a course that won't even teach them how to lash better. And I don't blame them. Looking back on it, if you told me that someone released a business course and it was $600 and you're like, well, I could take this or I could learn how to do lashes, I would probably tell you to learn how to do lashes. So we priced it too high. In order for a digital product to work in today's market, your customers need to feel like they're getting an incredible deal. And the only way they will feel like they're getting a deal is if you actually give them one. You need to treat your customers as if they are as intelligent or more intelligent than you because they are. So the last mistake we made was the authority problem. While we were both passionate about business and had the experience to help artists set themselves up for success, the Lightheart brand did not communicate that. So after realizing this, we began to post more business education content to build credibility in that space. And this led to an incredible turnaround. So remember how we did less than $10,000 in 2022? This is the graph of January of 2023, and you can see here we did around $45,868.15. That's just Going Independent. So a pretty big difference. So what happened in January? We quickly realized after launching that we did not have product market fit at our original price point, but we did not want to straight up lower the price or put it on sale for no reason, because I truly believe that pointless sales devalue your products. Your customers have good memories, and if they see that you're selling something for $600 and then you're like, hey guys, flash sale, it's $100 now, they're going to be like, well, clearly people didn't like it, because if people were buying it, they wouldn't be putting it on sale for $100. So how could we preserve the high perceived value of Going Independent while still lowering the price so that customers would feel good about their purchase? We just put it on sale. I'm just kidding. Well, kind of. We decided for the month of January that we would put Going Independent on sale for $99, which is an insane 84% discount.
Because I wanted people to take it, but I said, Elliot, I just want people to afford it. I just want them to have it. Like, I will give it away for free. I don't care. So we thought about a strategic way where it would actually make sense to communicate it.
Exactly, which this is the exact opposite of what I just said, where you want to keep the high perceived value of the course, but I think the way that we communicated the sale was key to why it was successful.
How we announced the sale was so important, and it was honest. So in 2023, I put on my Instagram story. I just made an Instagram story, not an ad, not a post, and I just said, hey, you guys, listen. In 2023, I want to launch a lot of courses for advanced independent artists, and that was completely true. So in order to get the most value out of all of these advanced courses we're putting out, like the Mega Volume Masterclass, you'll need to have the fundamentals of running your business down. So we're going to massively discount going independent so that the greatest number of you possible can master the fundamentals of your business and get more value out of your future courses.
And this wasn't a trick. This wasn't us trying to pull a fast one. This was just the honest truth.
I didn't even think about it very much.
No, we were
said,
just
that's
like,
what we're doing.
Yeah, we're like, we want to put it on sale. Why do we want to put it on sale? Well, we want people to be able to get value out of our other stuff, and this is a great baseline for that, so we're going to make it on sale. So this ended up leading to our biggest month to date. So almost half of our total sales in January of 2023 came from going independent, and that led to $108,963.65 in total sales in the month of January. And the reason I put these numbers in here is because when we first moved to Arizona, we had a dinner with a friend of ours that was very impactful on me, where he was telling us about their online courses that they were selling. They were selling courses in stock trading. And he was telling me about how they made the courses, how they were selling the courses, the kind of numbers they were doing, and that kind of like unlocked in my mind that kind of thing is possible, which I didn't even think before. And
so if you haven't heard that it is possible, it is.
It's a lot harder to accomplish something if you don't know that anyone's done it before. There's a lot more mystery.
What's that?
We're back, baby.
So Booked and Busy came after this, and it was our most successful ebook so far, and it did well because over the previous years, I had documented through my Instagram the process of quickly building a high-paying clientele while moving from suite to suite and across the country. My audience had watched me be fully booked from here to here and everywhere in between, in small towns and big cities, and almost by complete accident, I had given my audience, my friends, overwhelming evidence that I knew how to build a clientele from scratch by simply documenting myself just doing the thing. And this meant that when we launched Booked and Busy, we didn't have to convince people that I knew what I was talking about, and this led to strong organic sales off the bat with no ads. But what caused it to be successful in the long run is that the book advertised itself through its content. What do we mean by that? It was 100% focused on practical steps that artists could start taking immediately to get new clients, where mini courses and guides on similar topics focus on things like mindset, manifestation, and include phrases like do this one thing and get 50 clients tomorrow. The focus of Booked and Busy was deeply rooted in reality and situations that lash artists face, and it included a ton of different strategies that artists could pick and choose from to fit their current situation. It was extrovert friendly, it was introvert friendly, it was small town friendly, it was big city friendly.
And it also worked.
It did work. It was not a one-size-fits-all guide to success. Now let's talk about our most successful course to date, which is Angel Lashes. Stop.
Okay, wait, I'm gonna do this earlier. We're gonna skip the slide. But who here has heard of Angel Lashes? Raise your hand.
That's crazy.
That's honestly nuts.
I was doing a full set on a client in October of last year, and the client was 16 years old. She wanted something even lighter and softer than a classic set. So I used small groups of 0.03 lashes instead of classics. This isn't revolutionary, and there's lots of different words for it. I did not reinvent the wheel by any means, but my client noticed that I had a habit of calling people angels, and I kept saying, oh my gosh, my angel, like you're so beautiful, and then her name actually translated to angel. She told me that. So when I made my daily reel that night, I was like, this is my angel set. I didn't think anything of it, and I had no idea that it would catch on. When we launched the Angel Lash course in November of 2022, it is by far the most organically successful course we've ever released. We haven't spent much at all or anything on advertising, but the reach of Angel Lashes has allowed us to sell over 100K in Angel Lash courses since launch.
We'll skip that.
Thanks, you guys. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the real driver of the success of the Angel Lash course was that Angel Lashes went viral. So the moral of the story is that if you want to have a very successful course, just go viral. Thank you. End of speech. Just kidding. That's not exactly a recreatable strategy, and we've done thousands of other things that haven't gone viral. It's not entirely random, though. Just look at Mr. Beast, a very obvious example. A very high percentage or all of his posts go viral. And there's clearly a science to it. It's not just that he has an already large audience, because very, very consistently, his videos, his posts expand outside of his existing audience. And So there's clearly a science to it, and with enough experience and analysis, you can absolutely create content with a higher likelihood of going viral. This doesn't mean all your posts will go viral, but if you increase the likelihood with enough reps, you will go viral. But it's hard, and we clearly have not figured it all out, but I do have some tips that have worked for us so far. So you need to post a lot. Social media is a numbers game, and quantity leads to quality. There was this really interesting college class where a professor split his class into two groups. One group, it was a photography class. One group was graded just on the number of photos that they produced, the number of photos they turned in. 200 photos gets an A, 150 gets a B, so on and so forth. The other half, he graded them exclusively on the quality of their final photograph. And they only had to turn in one if they wanted, and they would just be graded on how good that one photo is. And what happened was at the end of the semester, the group that was graded on the quantity of photos was producing consistently better photos than the other group, which the moral of that story is that quantity absolutely leads to quality, and you may not feel it in the moment, but it absolutely, you are improving with every rep you do. And you also want to experiment with different types of content. You aren't going to learn much from posting 100 very similar videos, so try new things. You want to examine the success and failures of your past posts and think what kind of content did well, and then incorporate those learnings in the future. Try to make each post better than the last, which I know is revolutionary, but I think we all need to be reminded of that every single time we create something. So back to the course. One important thing we did was release it as soon as possible after seeing the success of the Angel Lash post. So we wanted to make sure to take advantage of the success of the accidental trend that we were creating. We saw it was going viral, and we said, okay, we need to strike while the iron is hot.
I said, Elliot, I've never gone viral before. I don't know if people want this. And he was like, people want it, make it, make it, make it.
Make a course, make a course.
Elliot shows up with my next client filming. He's like, do an angel set.
So
I was like, I don't even like doing angel sets.
So we found a format that was really easy to produce and also provided a lot of value to customers, in contrast to going independent, which was way overproduced and took way, way too long. So we were able to produce the Angel Lash course very quickly without a lot of overhead.
We also realized the mapping niche could be very successful because I had built some authority in that space. My other mapping content did really well, and so I had learned through creating that kind of content that this was something that people wanted and there was demand for it, so I immediately started taking models to film the course. We created the Wispy Workshop, a guide to a number of wispy looks and maps, similar in scope and style to angel lashes and just applied to different styles. And then we launched Mapping Mastery, which is a full start-to-finish guide to mapping every eye shape much more in depth than the previous two and more focus on the fundamentals of mapping. This all led us to create our biggest course yet, Mega Volume Mastery, which is a full start-to-finish online course for learning mega volume. We were strongly against creating an online lash technique course for a long time. And if you were a past student of mine in person, I told you I will never create an online mega volume lash course because I didn't think it would be done. I didn't think it could be done. And we were convinced that technique, especially mega volume, could only be taught in person. So what changed our minds after years? After years of trial and error, making all these other courses, learning what worked and what didn't, and getting feedback from hundreds of students. I always want feedback. We realized that we had accidentally given ourselves the skills that needed to create an online mega volume course that could give students the number one thing we wanted to give them, which was results.
Because that was really the reason we were against it, is we didn't think that the online format could give students results. However,
going independent taught us how to structure our course, what we wanted to do, what we didn't want to do. And for context, going independent was filmed in our first one-bedroom apartment in Arizona, which we filled with lights, we filled with stuff,
And it still looks so bad. Like
we tried way too hard to make it high production when it didn't need to be. Angel Sets taught us what students really cared about learning and listening to what people are asking you for. Because if it wasn't for you guys, I probably wouldn't have made it. The Wispy Workshop taught us how to film super up-close technique footage clearly and effectively. That was when we really invested into our camera equipment and our lighting and our space and our setup. And then Mapping Mastery taught us how to film theory in a simple and engaging way. And our in-person trainings, which I had taught hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of by now, had taught us the importance of direct communication with an experienced educator. So at the end of your online mega volume training with us, you get a follow-up video call with a human. This is Miss Katie, Miss Lightheart Katie.
Everyone clap for Katie, she's watching.
She's watching right now. that was really important to us that they had that one-on-one FaceTime with a human being that was able to troubleshoot and help them with anything they needed. So by spending years developing digital education content and by learning from every failure and every success along the way, we earned the skill set and the right to teach mega volume, which is a very complex and difficult skill, through an online course. And this has allowed artists from all over the world who would have otherwise had no access to our mega volume training to learn and perfect these incredible techniques.
And also, because we know through experience that this course gets results, we're able to offer it with a 100% money-back guarantee, which is something previously unheard of for a mega volume training, which makes it a lot easier for people to purchase the mega volume course because they know if it doesn't work for them, they can get their money back. But we know that it will work for them because of the experience that we've had.
So what's the big idea here? How did we build an education company in 3 years? We made a ton of mistakes, but I think the 3 things that I want you guys to take away if you're getting into education that I did think we did really well, and I wish they were more profound. I wish I had some breakthrough revolutionary statement for you guys, but
they're so simple.
They really are very obvious in hindsight. We taught artists things that they wanted to know.
We only created courses that answered questions that artists were already asking us. So we focused exclusively on making courses that would help them do one of these 3 things: make more money, provide a better service, or build a sustainable and lasting career that they could enjoy for years to come.
We leaned in when we saw things work. If you try enough times, you're bound to get lucky. And when we got lucky, we made sure to take full advantage of it. Most importantly, we care really deeply about seeing Lash artists succeed. It is our biggest, most deepest, heartfelt reason and our mission statement. I just want to see you guys all do well. I literally just want to see you guys thrive, because I kind of had a sucky time getting into this industry. And so from the bottom of my heart, all I care about leaving on this earth is that you guys' jobs and lives are just better, and that you're well respected, you love your work, you care about doing people's lashes, and that you can do this for years and years and years to come because you've been given better resources than I was given starting out.
And I think that's why the courses do well, is because that feeling and that intention comes through in the content that we produce.
It can't be money, it can't be success, it can't be wanting to get on this stage. It has to be that you care so deeply about the person sitting across from you that you're teaching. This mission shines through in everything we do, and I think it is the biggest reason for our success, and it's the reason we've built what I think is one of the most positive communities in the industry.
So give yourselves a hand of applause, please.
Give yourselves a
round of applause. Because it's everyone, every single person who has recognized us or we've met who is part of the Lightheart community has been the nicest people in the entire world. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Focusing on your customer's success is not a short-term strategy. It only works if you're in it for the long game. It requires you to have humility to know what you aren't ready to teach yet. It means that you will spend far more time writing and rewriting material that just doesn't provide information, but guarantees your students' understanding. It means money cannot be your main goal. It is simply a side effect of the value that you've created for others. But it also means that every day you'll have new reasons to keep on building, and you can touch lives of artists from all over the world.
That's our map of people who have taken our courses.
Elliot made that. It took him a very long time.
I'm very proud of it, you guys.
One day I came home and he goes, "Look at my map."
And there was 2 people had signed up for it, but I'm like, just you wait, there's gonna be more.
Every time we get a heart, we both are like, woo!
Yeah, there's also a bunch in Europe and Australia, but you couldn't see anything when I zoomed it out that far. It means your customers will be ecstatic for your success, and it is the only way that we know of to build a company that can make the world a better place for decades to come.
Now, I know the title of the speech was How to Build an Education Empire, but if you ask us, this was all just lessons learned, and we are just barely scratching the surface. We are barely getting started, you guys.
Here's our timeline. Big things are coming soon, you guys. Thank you all for being part of Lightheart's story. Love me and you.